Well, hello everyone. As you might guess, this has been a busy time for us. Probably many of you are aware that this is the time we have our summer national convention every year in the month of July. So this year was exceptional in that it was followed immediately by an international gathering, which we seem to be doing more and more of those. This one was the Theosophical Order of Service third international meeting. It was a planning meeting. But for both our conference, our convention, and the TOS meeting, we had over 40 people who were here from 15 different countries. So it was quite the international gathering and quite a lot of fun, honestly. Even before that, though, I had to travel down to Brazil this year. I had been invited by the Brazilian section, their general secretary, which is the equivalent of our president here, Marcos Resende, had invited me to be the speaker at their international school, which they've been doing that for 19 years now. So I came down for that. That was like, I think, a 4 or 5 day event. And then they had the Luso Hispanic meeting, which is the Portuguese and Latin American meeting, which followed. So I gave the opening address for that. So I have a bunch of pictures, way more than we can fit into this particular video. So probably we're going to post some slideshows of these various things if any of you are interested in seeing some more of it. But let's dive into Brazil. The program started for me in Brasilia, the capital city of Brazil, and they have a very active Theosophical society there. Ricardo Lindemann on my left and Mahendra Singhal, our international vice president, were on the podium. Ricardo did the translation. They managed to fit over 100 people in the room, which was impressive. Ulysses Resende, who you see in the center, and his wife Wanda, very active with his family in the Brazilian section. They have, for some time now, had a TV station 24/7. It operates with theosophical programming and yoga and Tai Chi. I was interviewed, one of 2 interviews, this one for something that would go on the TV, and then another one for their news program. The TV station is called TV Supreme, and they try to have upbeat sorts of news. The next day we went on to the Instituto of Theosophy, and this is the program. The Institute is a huge property. It's probably about the size of Wheaton, where I live. This is a view out my window from where we stayed. They have developed the place very nicely and is looking toward a temple. Some of the folks I had met in Mexico earlier in the year were there, a whole crew of them, Las Mexicanas. And so just in case you think it's all work, there's your answer. But it's a beautiful place. The grounds, I mean, much of it you'll get a chance to see. But the programs took place morning and afternoon. And I was speaking during that time, and Mahendra Singhal spoke during the evenings. And of course, they're very much into TV, so every program was captured for later use on the TV station. They don't waste a thing. Isis Resende, one of Ulysses' kids, was the translator, and she had to translate not only into Portuguese, but into Spanish, so they call it Portuñol. We did some energy exercises, and there were always questions after the program, which poor Isis had to translate so that I could give some sort of answer. Gentleman in the center is the Croatian ambassador to Brazil, so he came. We also had a chance to go to the Krishnamurti studies, which Marcos Resende, the general secretary, had founded. This is a tree planted by Radha Bernier there. And the temple was a place that was there for every day. We would have evening meditations. So people would sit on the stairs to watch the sun go down behind the mountains. And then sometimes, on one particular occasion, they would actually come into the temple, which is a building that sort of imitates the Greek or duplicates the Greek style of architecture. This is a picture of the Resende family. It was the birthday of the mother who was being hugged, Enidja. So we're on our way here to the waterfalls, of which there are many. So this doesn't need a whole lot of description, but this is just one of, I think, 38 waterfalls that are there. And there are a couple of them that actually you can swim in. So I didn't waste the opportunity, and I actually did go to one of those. So yours truly is one of those people floating around down in the water there, about 8 feet deep. When the program ended, I made the selfish request to have photos with each of the nationalities that was there. So this is Brazilian. This is also Brazilian. I think this is either Rio or Sao Paulo. And then I had a chance to photograph with each one of them. Here you see all the folks that came from Peru. Edith on my right. And then these are the folks who came from Colombia. Always there are a couple of extra folks in there. But this is one of two people who came from Nicaragua, both young guys, very nice guys, great musicians too. Here we have the Argentinian crew, always lively. And just in case you think there are no paparazzi in the theosophical world, think twice. And of course, Bolivia was there, and some of our farthest visitors came from Belgium. You had Jan Jelle Kepler, who was the General Secretary, and Josefina Galen. And then, of course, our international president, vice president, and his wife, so Mahendra and Sashi Singhal. And once again, my Mexicanas. So this is the closing, where people from each of the various sections had a chance to come up and say a few words. Wonderful program, excellent opportunity, glad I went. So that visit to Brazil was followed by our own program here, our summer conference, held at our lovely grounds, which were lovelier than ever this year, in the opinion of almost everyone that I heard from. It was a very busy and colorful time because, of course, we had people from all around the world attending. So we had our opening night, and probably it was around 150, 160 people on any given day. And we had the usual sort of greetings that were given from the floor from various representatives who had come from around the world and from around the United States. And then, of course, it was followed, as usual, by the prayers from the world's religions. But people would stand up, offer their greetings. New Zealand was in the house. And, of course, our past president, Betty Bland, brought greetings from the new group that has just been formed by her in North Carolina. The prayers were given by a variety of people from a variety of religions. And then it was off for a little bit of a social time down in our dining hall. And we had many social times. But the program itself was wonderful. Cynthia Overweg came to us from California. We also had on our program Vic Hao Chin, who was there for both of the TOS as well as the TS program. Franciscan sister Gabrielle Uline, who was a world-class author and facilitator, was also with us. And from Australia, Dorothy Bell, who was a big part of both programs. Fernando de Torrijos, who was one of our members, longtime member and past board member, and one of the really foremost mindfulness trainers in Latin America, certainly, was with us. So we had an opportunity to have good sessions and to talk through many things and to give very practical, applied things. There was also enjoyment. We had jazz flutist Steve Flowers and his group came out for an evening of outdoor jazz under the stars. And, of course, it wouldn't be Olcott if we didn't have some sort of tea. Decadence is not what we're into, but we definitely did throw down for this one. So it was a beautiful evening. People had a chance to eat from the various sorts of things that had been prepared for them by a host of volunteers as well as our kitchen staff. Wonderful evening, and not just old people like us, but kids took part as well. So we also we had an auction on Fun Night to raise money for the TOS. We auctioned off a signed copy by His Holiness the Dalai Lama of a poster from when we had him here, and also a signed copy of the book, Toward a True Kinship of Faiths, and raised over $1,000 with that. David Bland and I were the ones. Fun Night with Dan Smola and Barbara Hebert as our MCs was super fun. Ed Abdul as Swami Such a Banana. And then we had Usha Shah from Kenya, who was showing us how to do some Bollywood steps. Tell you what, you can watch the movies all you want, but I think Usha knows how to bust a move. So she had everybody up saying Om Shanti Om. But it was a lovely evening, a lot of fun. And again, the programs and the people who had come from all over the world was really what made it. Paul Kwaki and his family, he's from Ghana, he came to the meeting. Paul's a longtime member and has meant a great deal to theosophy in Africa. So it was a good time, had by all. It wasn't just about the food, it wasn't about the entertainment, it wasn't even specifically just about the talks, but it was about an opportunity to be together and to enjoy each other's presence. A fun night also included two special visitors who, along with Alfred P. Sinnott in the middle, performed a song and dance. And I was quite honored to receive ceremonial scarf from Dr. Deepa Patti and her, here shown also with her husband, D.N. Patti. So it was a good time, many, many people and many good memories. Followed immediately by the TOS conference, which was led by our international secretary of the TOS, Diana Dunningham Chapotin, and Carolyn Harrod from Australia, who have really done wonderful things with the TOS. Our national president here in the US, Nancy Sechrist, was also a major part of the planning and the performance of the meeting. Began with a tree planting in dedication to Colonel Olcott, and it's a tree that's planted in conjunction with some veterans groups here in the US. But it was something where it was very ceremonial, and sometimes a little bit unceremonious, but here each one, Vice President Singhal first put the first shovels of dirt onto the tree, and it was followed by Diana Chapotin, myself, and then others who went on to complete the ceremony. So that tree will be there for many of you to see for years and years to come. It's a maple tree that was selected. Virendra Bhattacharya also put in his shovelful, and he's the director of TOS in India. The programs were started off by our Vice President, Mahendra Singhal, and then we had speakers, very few speakers, but because it was a working meeting. Vikhal Chin spoke, and Maria Parison also. But the main focus was the actual sessions, where the planning and the thinking in terms of each person's nation and then also international. Breakout groups where all of these things were discussed and thoughts were given. Large contingent of people came from East Africa, also here shown with some of the Indian people and East Africa. Not to be outdone, Diana Dunningham Chapotin had an auction of her own. She auctioned off David and me. She auctioned off the auctioneers. And so she claimed she raised more money in 20 seconds than we did in the 15 minutes it took us. But again, as with the other programs, it's the people that make it. And people from the UK here, we had people from Hungary. These two ladies came all the way from Hungary. And then you pick the other place, Australia, India, East Africa. It's a beautiful time. One we look forward, and we have invited them for whenever the next one occurs.